Hi, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk Risk, where our mission is to engage, inspire, and empower the global community of risk practitioners. I'm your host, Naveen Agarwal, and today I'm so excited to welcome all of you to this special session of our Let's Talk Risk podcast, especially for audience outside the United States, especially in South Asia and Europe and elsewhere. So I welcome all of you, and it's my honor today to welcome my guest, Mr. Ganesh Sabat, a highly accomplished business leader, the former CEO of Sajanand Medical Technologies, which is SMT, where he led this organization from a very innovative small startup to a globally recognized name in a matter of 10, 12 years. So what a turnaround story. Talk to Ganesh about that experience and also speak to him about the environment in India for the MedTech industry. It is growing fast, big ambitions for growth by 2030. So we're going to learn about the environment, what it'll take to get there. But as you are all settling down, guys, please realize that this is not a webinar or a lecture. This is just a casual conversation. So, and you're a part of it. So make sure that you are participating. Don't hold back. If you have any questions or comments, you can share them in the chat, and I will bring them into our conversation as much as I can. With that, Ganesh, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Hi, Naveen. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate and wanted to thank you and everyone here to get this opportunity to talk. And today is the World Quality Day, and that World Quality Day, on this, significant day to get to talk to you is just fantastic.
Thank you so much, Ganesh. And you are right. Exactly. Yes, it's a great time to talk. But what strikes me the most is hearing this from a business leader like you. We live in the quality regulatory world all the time. And of course, we talk about quality. But when business leaders like you focus on quality, that is really amazing. So, Ganesh, I want to start by asking you to reflect on your journey at SMT. How did you start there and what it took for you to just help this company transition into such a powerful brand and global leader that it is today?
Oh, yeah. So it goes back almost 12, 13 years back when I got an opportunity to become CEO of this Indian medical device company called SMT. And I was surprised when I joined SMT that an Indian company is manufacturing stent, which is a class 3 medical device. And you can expect all kind of regulations that the company has to follow. A very stringent regulation. And so I was really, really surprised. But one of the things is that while they've developed some amazing technologies, the commercial success to the company, unfortunately, it could not get that much of success. Now, when you look at the journey from where SMT started and where it was in 2013 till today, almost close to 40 times growth that we got in last 12 years. It's actually a story of investing in quality. And I'm not saying this because, we are supposed to talk on quality. This is actually the fact. The company focused quite heavily on quality and invested in the manpower to create the ecosystem, to create a culture of quality, and then went on to prove it through clinical trial to the satisfaction of the world. And that's how SMT have grown at such a fast pace, not only in India, across the world. So it's a fantastic journey and happy to talk more.
As I'm listening to you, it brings to mind how the Japanese auto industry really became a global leader. In their early phase, they were not known for good quality at all. And in fact, they invested at the national level in a quality initiative. They invited the best minds in the world, Dr. Deming, we know that, and they became very serious about it. And as a result, the Japanese auto industry really challenged the entire West and changed the practices and expectations, even everywhere. So what I'm hearing you say reminds me of that, and it makes sense because if India has to become one of the global leaders in medical technologies, they'll have to make sure that the quality is at the global standard, and even maybe, let's be ambitious, even better than what the global standard is today. So Ganesh, let's talk about that in the early phase. How did you become convinced that it was going to be a very strong focus on quality that would be one of the success factors for you. Can you share your early days?
Yeah, so very good point. Talked about Japan and how they have transitioned. In fact, even Germany transitioned from a low, cheap quality country in World War II to today. It's at the pinnacle. In fact, the word "make in a particular country" got coined because the Britishers, they want to differentiate between made in UK and made in Germany. Made in Germany was a cheap quality product, and the British government didn't want anybody to buy German product. That's why they said made in UK. So, so just
Yeah.
in the same line, so it's a beautiful story. Every country goes through that journey, and it's India time now to go through that journey.
And it brings a sense of pride, right? It brings a sense of pride when you achieve that level and the label says made in your country.
Yeah.
It brings a sense of pride also. So I'm sensing that achieving that success through quality also leads to a sense of pride. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but please go ahead, continue your story.
Yes. So in terms of, you asked, like, how did I know that quality should be the starting point? So fortunately, when I joined SMT, one of my responsibility was to raise money from the investor. And investor are, some of the private equity guys or the venture capitalists. They are some of the smartest guys you can find. While interacting with them, most of them say that what you need to succeed at a global level, because they have looked at multiple companies, the quality of the Indian stent has to go much, much higher. Second, when I was meeting a lot of cardiologists in India, what they told that your stent in terms of long-term result is fantastic, but the quality should be the priority. So when you hear from an investor, when you hear from your customers, all they say, all they ask is quality. That is your starting point.
That's a powerful message, really. And here, when it comes to medical devices, like unlike any other industry, quality also includes safety. And that is where we are interested from our Let's Talk Risk perspective. Safety is part of quality. And I bet you were interested in both. And when your cardiologists are talking about quality, they also mean should be safe for patients and I should rely on it every time I use it. When investors are talking about quality, they're also thinking about safety and patients should not get hurt. But we should have reliable performance so that we can have confidence in the product. So I think quality in our industry goes a little bit broader than just the traditional mindset that people have around cost reduction or Six Sigma and things like that. It is fundamentally good design, reliable manufacturing, producing the stuff we want to produce every time. So Ganesh, I think this is such an inspiring story to me. I can't help think about drawing some parallel between this and where the India MedTech industry is today in general. I mean, I'm hearing very bold projections of growth like 50 billion by 2030, which is significant leap from where they are. Tell us a little bit about what the environment is like in the India MedTech industry first. Let's set the stage on that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll talk on that. Also, I'll say probably for everyone's understanding and what SMT did, right? So India started as a big pharma hub. Today also it is a big pharma hub, right? So when we talk about quality or the quality ecosystem, we rely on pharma guys like PhD in chemistry or MSc science, BSc science. So a lot of people having pharma background or quality checking. That's what I have seen in India. A lot of the India follows a fast follow strategy. So the innovations most of the time happens in US, right? Because the whole system, the approval, the guidelines, everything comes from US. So India becomes a very fast follower. So that means the technology we are getting either from technology transfer or we get inspired by somebody's technology or we are acquiring some company and getting the technology. So that means we have not gone through the evolution of creating a design. So you are getting a technology, but you have not gone through the evolution. And you have a pharma ecosystem that you are relying on to bring quality. So those are the things that I saw in SMT and in India long back. When I have some problem, when I look back, we had only one engineer in the whole company to find a solution. So that is where we started. Of course, the one engineer, he was one of the best engineer, but he became my right hand to create that journey, from a more pharma style quality to become a much more international level quality standard that is required out of a medical device company.
Mm-hmm.
So what do I mean by that? We made many changes. We almost today SMT has got 80 odd engineers hired from some of the best universities out of India. Some of the US medical device professionals who have come back to India, they have joined SMT. So we created this huge pool of engineers, and these engineers also focused on most of the processes. They become the process owners. So it becomes very easy for us to identify the risk, right? Create a culture of how we can put quality as the parameter to drive or manufacture anything that we do. How, we don't just think of quality means just observing under a microscope and just see whether there is defect or not.
Yeah.
But to make sure that there is no defect there is a system. How do you create that system? I think those are the changes. And when you are doing that, what do you realize, which is another point you talked about, quality which starts with design. What you realize, the design of our stent at that stage, it can navigate in most of the cases, but in some of the complicated cases, it cannot navigate.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
a lot of the time that can come back as product complaint, right?
Yeah.
But you can do all kind of analysis, but probably the fact that you have to work on the design. So we worked on from that starting point, we worked on the design to change the stent. We had, some great engineers put on FEA, looked at every tiny aspect of the stent, and then created the most deliverable stent in the world, creating a whole system of how to manage the quality. And everything got created from the scratch. So you're not doing a technology transfer. You essentially know each and every aspect of your product, what you did, how you did, and what result it is bringing to the patient, right?
Wonderful. Yeah.
That's the transition that we made, and that's the investment in the quality we made, and we saw the result. The market started rewarding us with this 30-40x growth.
This is such a wonderful insight you are sharing with us, is that the journey of quality doesn't start at the finished product. The journey of quality starts at the design phase, and it has to go through a cycle of evolution. And we have an interesting question from the audience, Ganesh. Is the quality maturation cycle across the India market evolving as a whole based on market competition? And we know that there are a lot of players, published global players in India, big names. And I'm pretty sure that the local industry has to compete not only with these global players, but everybody else in the world. So tell us a little bit about how that drives a focus on quality and the quality maturation cycle, as the question asks, in light of this market competition.
Yeah, I think what I have seen, some of the companies, they've invested in the manpower, they've created the ecosystem, and they have started getting benefited out of it. But as a whole, no, not as a whole yet. But is there a realization? I think first you have to realize, and then you have to, you have to accept, yes, this is what it is. Correct. I think there is a big realization that is there. With the realization, you need a much larger ecosystem. Today, India has got 1,500 medical devices. The number of people you need in quality, which are really, really good, a huge number of quality people we need. So that's not there. Even if there is a realization, the learning curve, again, probably SMT has discovered many things, but will it share with the next company? Probably no, right? So now the other company, they can probably hire a couple of people, probably can get some insight, but they also have to go through their own journey. I think that is where there is a few companies which has come up absolutely doing great. Not only SMT, there are other companies. There is a realization all across India. Some of them are going through the journey, but I think we'll see the result probably in next 8 to 10 years because it takes time.
Yeah. You mentioned something interesting is that what is needed beyond realization is an ecosystem in the whole environment. So when I take a step back and think about this problem is not different for India. It's everywhere, right? How do we create that ecosystem? And I think this is why I want to kind of jump into our next part of our conversation with you about what you're doing today, is that you create that support system, that ecosystem for innovative companies through a network of incubators. And I know you are actively involved in an effort like that. Speak to us about what's happening in that space in India and how innovative companies in India across the country could take advantage of that.
Yeah. After leaving SMT, I think SMT is doing really, really well, and they have got some fantastic product, people, management, and they're going to thrive in future. I decided to step down and was wondering how best I can utilize my talent. And then when I looked at the ecosystem in India, there are like 1,500 medical devices in India. Out of that, 7 to 8 are scaled up medical device companies, but rest are not scaled up. They have commercialized the product. They have not achieved a large scale. They are smaller players. Part of the reason is most of these companies are their founders, some engineers who have built these companies, and it's not a matured medical device ecosystem. So once they have built, now they're struggling how to navigate or find a nice corridor when you go through complexity. Talk about quality, you talk about innovation, you talk about regulatory, go-to-market strategy. So there are multiple complexities that they have to navigate. So they have not found a nice corridor. And that's what they're struggling. So what I realized, they not only need capital, they also need some kind of support, experience to help them out. On the other hand, also, there are a lot of interest from the private equity, from pharma companies and other investors to invest in medical device. But a lot of the private equity players are financial guys. They can bring money, but they cannot bring the experience that these guys need. So they stay away. They only invest into the scaled up companies. So what I found, a big white space where there is a need of capital, there is a need of experience, hand-holding, and that in a way I found my best fit. I thought this will be my biggest contribution to my country, not only my country, but to the world.
Yeah.
Because India can be the solution for affordable healthcare. And affordable healthcare, as you know, is something that every country, every person needs, every government needs. So it's not only a requirement. So that's why I started MedTech Capital. The whole idea is to find out very passionate founder companies which are focusing on manufacturing medical devices companies in India, focusing on innovation, focusing on or have the interest to dedicate themselves into building high quality products. Medartha can come in and help them to grow. And that way we can have our contribution to the world. So that's been my next journey.
Wonderful. But tell us a little bit more about the infrastructure from in the public space, for example, incubators or maybe technology parks that are being established. Can you say a little bit about that so people become aware and maybe they can take advantage of those opportunities?
Yes. So MedTech Capital, we have built a partnership with MTZ. MTZ is the largest medical device park in India and probably one of the top 5, global medical device park. So this is a 270-acre piece of land, and there are 164 companies already operating from this medical device park. So Medartha is bringing this large medical device park ecosystem also to the portfolio companies that we are going to invest. But beyond AMTZ, Indian government is focusing on creating a lot of medical device park across India. And right now, to like 7-8 medical device park that has come up. Also, they are giving incentive on like PLI, production link incentive. They have declared a 1 lakh crore R&D investment, which is a very large amount. So there are a lot of enablers that are coming up to now help Indian medical device companies to actually grow.
Yeah. So really the environment is kind of ripe for explosive growth. And there are other raw materials, like there's a lot of talent, great engineering schools, great medical schools, great hospitals, great doctors. And hopefully this kind of an ecosystem can bring all these elements together for success. Now, we're coming close to our time here, Ganesh. I want to ask you one more question. How can individuals participate in this ecosystem? And by that, what I mean is, certainly it seems overwhelming and challenging from an individual's perspective. You mentioned way back when you had one engineer and they became your right hand person. So, with challenge comes opportunities. So, maybe share some thoughts about how individuals, for example, engineers, should be looking at this situation and asking the question, how can I play a role and how can I actually leverage this enormous opportunity, which is challenging, but how can I leverage to grow my career?
Fantastic question, Rabin. I think that this can be my also message to all the quality engineers out there. So I can tell you one thing. You're working in medical device. You're doing a very noble thing. So be passionate, be dedicated. But more importantly, remember one thing. India can become a medical device hub, but it cannot become a medical device hub because you can manufacture a low-cost product. That not how India can become a medical device hub. India can become a medical device hub because we are manufacturing high-quality product. That means whether India become a high-quality medical device hub or not is in your hand. It's not with any sales guys. It's not with anybody else in your organization. It's only the quality engineers out there working can make India a global medical device hub. It's not a checkpoint where you just check the product. You have a strategy. You should have a quality strategy, a vision. And medical device is engineering, understand it from that engineering perspective. Bring as much process innovations that you can. I think they have the biggest role to play today to take India to probably one of the top player like Indian pharma is doing. It is absolutely in their hand.
Wow. What an inspiring message, Ganesh. I'm fired up. I hope our colleagues in the industry will feel that way. Guys, as we close, I'm going to give Ganesh a couple of minutes to think about 2 or 3 key takeaway points he can share with us. In the meantime, I want to just share with you a couple of announcements. First, for this audience particularly, I want to tell you a little bit about Let's Talk Risk. I started this Let's Talk Risk platform about 2 years ago with the sole purpose of engaging, inspiring, and empowering our colleagues in the industry, because I felt like we really didn't have a place for people to gather and have a conversation, make connections, share insights and perspectives. That is why I tell you, this is not a webinar or a lecture. This is not a forum for necessarily passing some teachings or one-way information. It is a forum for all of us. You are a part of it. And having said that, I want to invite you to be a part of it. If you would like to participate, come on my show, like Ganesh did. Everyone has an opinion, a perspective, and experience to share. So there are no qualifications. The only qualification is your passion for the field and willingness to share your perspective. So please reach out to me if you would be interested in coming and sharing your perspective with me. Second thing I want to share with you is that Let's Talk Risk is not just about these conversations. It is also about giving you a place where you can get some tangible information, knowledge. It's like a knowledge portal where I write up case studies based on FDA warning letters, what FDA found, why there might be an issue, and what we can do about it. As you guys might know that the U.S. regulatory system is changing. We are going to go into quality management system regulation, QMSR. For that, I have launched a 90-day QMSR readiness action plan, especially for quality regulatory leaders, how they can position their organizations from a compliance mindset to an assurance mindset, what Ganesh just talked about. It's not about check the box. So there are a lot of opportunities for you to be a part of Let's Talk Risk and benefit from it. Reach out to me if you have any questions, comments, or just curious about it. With that, Ganesh, I will give the floor to you and ask you to share just 2 or 3 key points as a closing comment.
Thanks, Naveen. I really enjoyed the discussion. And just the final thought, all the quality people out there, I can tell you, a company can become world-class the day the quality team decides it's not a compliance, but it is a mission of the company. The CEO can say, but he doesn't have the ability. It's the quality team which has the ability to make each of your company world class. You have the power today, right now, and you can change it. Thank you. Thank you, Naveen.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for such a powerful and inspiring closing comment, Ganesh. I have never heard anything like this from anybody before. So thank you for sharing your thoughts, sharing your insights. I'm inspired by you, and I wish you all the best in your new venture. I think you're going to make a big impact, and I would love to have you come back again to the show in a year from now and tell us even more success stories and more inspiring stories. So, Ganesh, thank you once again and good luck.
Thank you, Naveen. I would love to come back. Thanks a lot, everyone.